welcome to Urban Debate on Mirror Now. I'm Heena Gambhir. Tonight we are going to talk about the education becoming increasingly ideologically laden. The original mandate of schools and colleges is endangered. Their fundamental concern is and should be education. In a country with crores living on the wrong side of poverty line and there are vehicles of alleviation, they also play a role in socializing children into acceptable ways of behaving. It started with a college refusing to allow girl students to wear hijab in classrooms as their classmates with alleged links to right-wing groups went up in arms. Karnataka colleges are now defeating the mandate of education. The ugly seeding of bigotry is growing. It has reached other states. Today, there were protests in Kolkata, Hyderabad, Bhopal, Aurangabad, and national capital Delhi as well. The politicization is dividing the students and society. A debate rages on. Can uniform rules of schools and colleges be so inflexible to minor variations like hijab? Versus, is denial to wearing a hijab in classroom denial of rights? The Karnataka High Court, hearing the matter, wants the case be referred to a larger bench. The Honorable Chief Justice of Karnataka will now decide what happens in this particular matter. Meanwhile, Karnataka towns, their residents and students are living on the edge. Tension continues in parts of Karnataka. Schools and colleges will remain shut for at least 2 more days. Protests near schools and colleges have been banned near Bengaluru schools for 2 weeks by the administration. Karnataka government maintains that 6 students of Udupi's Government Girls PU College, from where this controversy really started, are being instigated. Prime Minister Narendra Modi from the ramparts of Red Fort had provided the mantra, Beti Padhao, Beti Bachao. Does this ugly controversy threaten to derail the gains made in bringing more and more girls into the schooling system and pursue higher studies? While India's dropout rate for girls is as high as 57% by high school. So on Urban Debate tonight, we want to ask, are children being used as pawns of politics? That's our big focus on Urban Debate on Mirror Now this evening. And joining us on the broadcast is Swati Malik, Congress spokesperson and Advocate Supreme Court. We are also joined by Mohankrishna, BJP Leader Karnataka, Lakshmi Iyengar, Senior Advocate Karnataka High Court and Supreme Court, Dr. Akash Deep Muni, Political Analyst, also joining us on the broadcast this evening. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining us here on Urban Debate on Mirror Now. Mr. Mohankrishna, I want to begin the discussion with you because, we've had this discussion on the same issue earlier as well. But today, I want you to specifically focus on the impact this entire controversy is having on the education of these students, these children who are the future of our country. How badly that's going to impact their lives. Well, Prime Minister Modi has been repeatedly talking about Beti Padhao, Beti Bachao. Don't you think with what is happening in Karnataka today, the gains that were made are going to come down?
Good evening, Heena. Education is a must for everyone if the country has to prosper and become a superpower like any other country, developed countries we have in the world. In this part, the 12% population of Muslims have to contribute to the major extent. In the 12% of the Muslim population, what is the percentage of girls, children going to school and getting education, whether it is in madrasa or in regular schools and colleges? This is one part. The second part, what you asked me about Beti Padhao, Beti Bachao. This nara has been given by Prime Minister Mr. Modi to equal the to bring the gender equality and make sure that the education and learning system has to be streamlined in such a way that they also come into the mainstream line. As he was telling, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, the most of the Muslim women, Muslim girls, those who are born in the Muslim family, they never used to come to the schools and the mainstream line because they used to have all these kind of religious stubborns, I can say, stubborns. So they used to practice such a stubborn religious practices. For that reason, they were not able to come out. Now look at the way how we have Muslim girls working in as a flight attendant, as a front office manager or front office in star hotels today, in hospitality industry, in IT industry, everywhere. Do you think that they were all this kind of, they practice religious practices? Yes, they do practice at home, not at public places or in schools and colleges. It has been
it's
given
very
the
interesting,
tuition,
Mr. Mohankrishna, what you're
tutored in
saying,
such
that
a
the
way.
girls were not able to come out due to various reasons. It's very interesting that you mentioned this, and that's the reason I want you to respond to specifically what I asked and specifically what we are debating tonight. What is happening in Karnataka? Don't you think that's going to further push these children back into their homes? Because there are several examples, in fact, wherein these girls managed to get admission into colleges where hijab was not a problem, where everything was peaceful. But now, do you not think that this is going to impact their education in the future? Is it not going to act as a deterrent? Mr. Mohankrishna, quick response, and Swati Malik.
Absolutely, you are right, Heena. See, that is what I was making that point only. Look, we are growing. The country is growing. Country from developing country to developed country. We want to be a superpower in the near future. So, in order to become in near future to become a superpower, every citizen of the country should be learned, the literate, and all these things counts. Then only the lot of discipline comes in the life. When discipline comes in the life, how the discipline comes in the life? With education only. Once we are educated, we know how the mannerisms will improve, the behavior, attitude, behavior and mannerisms, everything counts, See, we portray ourselves as a country people. When we go abroad, we portray that we are representing India. When we are doing something nonsense there, that we are bringing bad name to the country. In the same way, the religious practices, India is a country with unity in diversity. In the diversity, the practices
Swati
are
Malik,
so much.
the question still remains the same. How will we become a superpower?
And so many castes and creeds.
If the color of faith is going to divide children in schools, is that what we want in our educational institutes?
I absolutely agree with you. It is very unfortunate that it has come.
Absolutely, that is what I'm saying. The uniform is the only solution for that. Uniform has been brought in the schools.
Let Swati Malik now respond.
Okay.
Let Swati.
It is up to 10+2.
You're talking about uniform. I'll come to you. I'll come to you again on that point. Okay. Sir, let Swati now respond. I'll come to you on the issue of uniform as well.
It is very unfortunate that our children have been pushed to this stage. Now, even for this controversy, how it started was that 4 girls used to wear a hijab, and not suddenly, but they were wearing that hijab over months, over 8-9 months. And on 4th of February, an order came and said that, sorry, you cannot wear this. And of course, that is how the moment they got marginalized, there was a group of other women who started wearing the hijab, and to contradict them, there was a group of students who started wearing the saffron color. Now, it is very unfortunate. It is very sad that our children, who should be actually just focusing on their education, that should be the prime focus of all these children who are today shouting slogans out there, whether it is Allahu Akbar or it is Jai Shri Ram. They should not even be doing that. They should be in their classrooms or in the canteens singing songs or studying, right? But this is what it has been pushed to, and it is very unfortunate. Of course, like you said, whether it's going to impact the Muslim girls, yes, we cannot ignore their the struggle that they go through, some of them even to get admission, so maybe, or to go in for further studies. So yes, in some families, to have that admission or to get permission to get admission, they have to wear that hijab, so be it. So that is not contradicting or interfering with anybody else's practice anyways, right? But yes, those girls are going to get impacted by this. First
And
of
in any
all,
case, we can't say whether schools have the authority now to tell, the girls to come wearing to the classroom with a hijab, or, they can be stopped, because the matter is now in the court, and Karnataka High Court was supposed to come out with a verdict today, but has referred that it should be sent to a larger bench. And now, Lakshmi Iyengar, where do you stand on this entire matter? Do you believe that politics has allowed this to fester? The government could have done something in time to stop it when it started happening, when it was only limited to one college in Karnataka?
I don't think that the government has been unable to mitigate any of the happenings at this point of time. This was always prevalent. There were always rules in place for every college and school. The issue basically came up because of the pre-university college in Udupi, and therefore the government thought it fit to come about with a uniform order. And this order came to be passed a few days ago, only to find some kind of a balance. It's not going to violate anybody's individual right to practice any religion. It's ultimately to try to find some kind of a balance between the rights and personal beliefs. See, the courts have always had this kind of an impression and has always passed along through judgments that the collective rights of an institution would be given precedence over the individual rights of the petitioner. So at this point of time, we are talking about an order passed by the Karnataka government. How does it infringe upon any personal right? It doesn't. The ladies are still allowed to wear what they want.
Let me present certain facts for you and our viewers. Lakshmi Iyengar, let me present certain facts for you and our viewers as well, because here at Mirror Now, we've been covering this story since day one. When it first happened at Udupi College in Karnataka, then it spread to a private college in other part of Karnataka, and then to another one, and then to another one. This is how it was spreading. Now, my question to you is very simple, and why I asked you specifically this question, because when it happened in one college, why couldn't the government intervene then and there? Why was it allowed to be spread? Why was this virus really allowed to be spread to so many colleges and so many educational institutes in Karnataka that it today threatens to spread to other states as well? This, uniform policy that you're talking about, government only thought about it after this became a big issue. There was nothing of this sort that the government had come out with before this particular matter, ma'am. So why couldn't the government control the situation? Why couldn't the government intervene in time? This wouldn't have happened. That's the point that I want to ask.
Government, look, I can't speak for the government, but I'm sure the government can do precious little if for political reasons people want to use this and polarize society. Now, the government needn't have stepped in at all because it was an issue with respect to one institution. That one institution already had the uniform code in place, and it was there for over a year. Now, if these ladies at this point,
now, that's exactly the point that I wanted to highlight. Dr. Akashdeep Muni, are children being used as pawns by politicians? Here, I'm not talking about any one political party,
yes,
but
they
politicians.
Are being used as pawns because till date, all along in Karnataka, from the 1970s till the 1990s and 2000s, you could never see hijabs or scarves anywhere. Now they're trying to polarize society, and we have seen all along in most of the colleges and institutions, the ladies come how they want to be dressed from their home up to college. They always remove their hijab and they're part of normal society. When they leave, they always leave how they wish to be. When they leave.
Dr. Akashdeep also wants to respond.
To the rules. The rules are in place.
Dr. Akashdeep also wants to respond. Ma'am, I'll come back to you. Ma'am, I'll come back to you. Let Dr. Akashdeep also respond. Yes.
Now, this is a very serious topic, and I want to bring some seriousness into this topic. Now, in the next couple of statements, I'll prove that the step taken by the Karnataka government is illogical and full of political brownie points. Now, a controversial notification comes recently issued by the School Education Department of Karnataka, which singles out hijab-wearing young girls to deny them the right to education. Now, I want to go by what the law says and what the court says. The Honorable Supreme Court in 2017, in case Puttaswamy case, says that the state has no business to interfere in what common man eats or what they should wear. I'm quoting the Supreme Court, Honorable Supreme Court. Coming back to the executive. Now, while the founding fathers were making the constitution, a person called Tajamul Hussain, a barrister from Bihar, came into forefront and said that why don't we remove, we add a clause in Article 25 which says that no person shall be liable to show any sign of religion, which was starkly rejected by our founding fathers. Interestingly, the notification seeks to protect public order, but itself created a law and order problem. Now, one question to all of you. Nobody in Karnataka, not a single college in Karnataka knows that what this universal dress code is. Does it extend to vibhuti, turbans, kadas, bindis? And I want to ask this BJP spokesperson that are you going to universally code things in Punjab as well? Are you asking, will you be telling every Punjabi that they cannot wear turbans?
Okay, BJP's Mohankrishna wants to respond to what you've said,
may I
Dr.
answer you?
Akashdeep. Mohankrishna.
Yes.
Yeah, as you, Heena, you were telling that government has taken steps very appropriately. See, this issue started in Udupi one school with 6 students. Okay, these 6 students, when they went to, first initially they have started talking to them. Then after that to their parents and students along with the 6 students, with the college administration, principal and all. And after that, district DDPI, what is called district Deputy Director of Public Instruction, along with that MLA, Mr. Raghupati Bhatt, and after that minister intervened, after the education minister intervened, after the in-charge minister intervened, they had a meeting there. They were not convinced. Why only these 6 students, they were so adamant and they had such a big audacity to wear hijab and they want to come with hijab and sit in the class. That is how the things have started. I would like to ask our advocate friend, he was saying that the order itself says something wrong, that it is not, it is illogical. I will tell you something, sir. The order says it is left to the SDMCs, School Development Management Committee. Okay, that is, they have to take care of the order. They have to take care of the uniform, which color, what they want to wear, how they want to wear. All these things have to be decided by them. The order is only for uniform.
So you're trying to suggest
everybody.
that these were being influenced. One second, Dr. Akashdeep, 1 second. Mr. Mohankrishna, you're telling us that these girls were being influenced. Meanwhile, we've got the news as well that this matter will be taken up by a full bench and the hearing will happen at 2:30 p.m. tomorrow. That's the update that we've got just now on the entire hijab issue. But Mr. Mohankrishna, coming back to you. So you said that, it was started by 6 students, and that's what the Education Minister of Karnataka also told us yesterday. If these 6 students were being influenced by some people, then can you tell me who was behind those students in another college in Mangaluru and Chikmagaluru who had come with, these saffron shawls and scarves to the college? Where did that start?
I put the entire blame on the Congress party very much. Mr. Siddaramaiah, the former chief minister, is responsible very much with his tweets and with his statements what he has made even before the court ruling. Even court has ruled. And Mr. U.T. Kadar, who is an MLA, who is an ex-minister, hails from Mangalore, that is Dakshin Kannada district, he has categorically said, you are underestimating the power of the students, Muslim students. If it blows up,
Swati,
then it will be a
seems
problem.
Congress party had given those saffron
10
scarves
days back.
and shawls to those students.
I think that's what my learned friend here is
Just
trying
let
to
me complete, Heena. Let me complete, Heena. Let me complete, please.
I'll let him finish because it is extremely absurd the kind of allegations
Very
he's
quickly,
making.
sir. 10 seconds only. Very quickly.
No, I'm not putting allegation. Today, DK Shivkumar has sent a letter to the students saying that what is happening.
But sir, I
Do
asked
you
you a
want to-
simple
do
question.
you want
Mr.
the
Mohan
students
Krishna,
to learn
Mr.
what is
Mohan
their
Krishna,
rights
with
from
due
at the
respect,
10th, 12th
I asked
students?
you a simple
What
question.
is this?
Mr. Mohan
HPCC
Krishna, I
president
asked you a
DK
simple
Shivkumar is
question,
doing?
a straightforward
Is it not
question. Swati,
politicizing?
1 second.
Is it
No,
not?
no, 1 second, 1 second. One at a time, sir. Sir, one at a time. I really don't want a political debate here. My focus of the debate is the future of our country, the children of our country and their education, which is suffering today. With due respect, sir, I want to ask you that question once again. You're telling us that this entire controversy was started by 6 students in Udupi College, 6 girls who wanted to come to the classroom wearing a hijab. Now, you tell me, who was behind those students in another college, in Bengaluru, if I'm not wrong, who had come with saffron shawls and scarves? Who was behind them? Because that's where it started spreading.
Newton's third law holds good here. Newton's third law holds good here. When the minister, up to the minister, when they were so
Every
adamant and they were
action has an equal and opposite reaction.
When they
Newton's
went to the
third
High
law
Court,
is every
then only
action
the
has an
reaction
equal and
started.
opposite reaction.
Then I'm not saying...
So by that logic, Swati,
Exactly.
by that logic, Swati, if these 6 girls were being instigated, then there were the other side that was influencing the other set of people and asking them to go to the classroom wearing saffron scarves and shawls. I mean, that's the question that I want to ask tonight. Are these children being used as pawns by politicians? Is that what we want in our educational institutes?
Even I did not want to politicize the issue actually, because it's about the future of our country. Right? It is a future of this whole generation which is being polarized. And of course, we all saw those videos of the scarves being put at a point. So who's supplying those scarves? Who are the people who are supplying those saffron turbans? That also should be looked into, right? Of course, now as far as these girls wearing hijab is concerned, it is there. Whether it is allowed or not, like you said, the matter is being taken up by the full bench tomorrow. As a lawyer, I don't even want to comment on a matter which is, sub judice right now. So I will not go into that. But yes, we have to look into the point as to who is even instigating these the Hindu students, for that matter, to wear those saffron clothes and go in those numbers, to scream and those slogans, raise those slogans against their own classmates. I mean, I was watching television on your show, on your channel itself, where I saw these girls, the Muslim girls with the hijabs. They were commenting and they were saying these boys and these other girls in saffron are our friends, or they were our friends. Who are these people? What is this polarization happening where we are breaking this whole generation, this future generation, and it's starting from
Ms.
there.
Lakshmi Iyengar, I have very little time left.
Unfortunately,
Ms. Lakshmi Iyengar, I have very little
amount of time that has
time
been
left.
given for a lot of rambling. Now let us just move away from all of these political debates as to who came up with what scarves. Let's just go into the aspect. We have 3 women here, and unfortunately, all of us seem to be
why I
talking
asked
about,
that question,
and
Ms. Iyengar?
unfortunately,
You know why I asked that question? 1 second, Ms. Iyengar, 1 second, 1 second. You have to hear me out now. 1 second. Why specifically I asked that question? My focus tonight on this debate was about the education that's suffering. But Mr. Mohankrishna of the BJP said that it was all started by these 6 girls. And yesterday, the education minister also reiterated that they are being influenced. And then that another question begs an answer, that if these girls are being influenced, that what answers,
Absolutely.
what about these other students who came to the college wearing saffron scarves and shawls?
Do you
Who
really
is going to respond to that, ma'am?
No, 1 minute. Do you really want to go into who were influenced?
No. One second. If you are trying to justify, their demand by saying that it is an issue of only 6 girls, then you please respond to my question.
We're not talking about which colored scarves are in question right now. We're talking about 3 women here who are ridiculously talking about how women should wear hijab and about regressive attitudes. You need to talk about progressive attitudes.
Who is talking about? Who is talking about? 1 second, Miss Iyengar, 1 second. Who has raised the issue whether women should wear hijab or not? You tell me, who has raised this issue? That is not our focus at all. That matter is in the court. I am not discussing that issue at all. My focus is only one. Why should the color of faith divide children in our country? Why should the color of faith divide children in our country?
Could I please get 2 minutes without any rambling? Now, what I'm trying to say is here, we had a sati practice. We had to bring in laws to get rid of a regressive practice. Now we have Manusmriti. Hindus always followed
Ma'am, that is a different matter altogether. I am not getting into that issue. The courts are there. The courts are there to decide on that particular issue. I am not here. I am not here saying whether wearing hijab is right or wrong. I do not want to say anything on this issue. That matter is in the court today, ma'am.
Let the matter be in court. We are talking about whether the Karnataka government had within its rights to come up with an order, and they did within the Karnataka Education Act. Now, secondly, we're talking about next. We are talking about what needs to be done. What needs to be done is we need to move forward in society and not backwards. And just because we have some people trying to instigate, we cannot say that we're talking about protection of these women. And you asked Mr. Mohan a pertinent question. Are we putting these girls back into their homes? No. If they do wish to wear their hijab, there are sufficient minority institutions under Article 30 that provide for them to wear what they want and go to that specific institution. And under Article 25, their
I am
rights
appalled. Dr. Akashdeep Muni, some girls who are out on the streets today, who are protesting today, had gone to some specific colleges who did not have any problem with them coming to the classroom wearing a hijab. Everything was absolutely peaceful. Now we have another lady on the show who's telling us that if they want to wear a hijab, they can probably go to some other institutions. What are we really aiming for? What are we trying to achieve by doing this, by saying this?
Society, not back.
Just have a look upon this where a lady is saying that if you wear a hijab, you go into a minority institute and you study there. Why? The country is for everybody. And your regressive nature shows that when you say that Sati Pratha is equal to wearing hijab, Sati Pratha is totally not equable to that. And I want to again reiterate what our Honorable Supreme Court said in Nalsa v case, where the Supreme Court said that dressing is one's personal appearance and one's choice of dressing, and no state can interfere in it. And
well, I really don't want to get into that issue because the court is going to decide. I'm not going to get into that matter at all. Mirror Now is not getting into it because the court is going to decide on that tomorrow. We'll, of course, be keeping you ahead on that story. But for the moment, I'm completely out of time. I appreciate all my guests for joining us here on Urban Debate on Mirror Now this evening. Heading into a short break, there's lots lined up for you on the other side as well. Don't go anywhere.